Welcome everyone. So the market sentiment is extremely gloomy, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that the yield curve finally uninverted. This has earlier been a predictor for recession. Now I see a lot of panic in the market. And the question is, should you sell your altcoins to front run a potential recession, or is it better to hold in anticipation of a potential rally towards Q4 or maybe sometime during 2025? If you guys like this type of content, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you haven't, and follow my X where I drop daily alpha before it reaches my YouTube. Keep in mind, nothing I say is financial advice. So traditionally, an uninverted yield curve can mean that a recession is coming, but nothing, of course, is set in stone. A lot depends on what the Fed does moving forward. Like I said in my previous videos, key dates to look out for are the following. We got the CPI on September 11th and rate cuts on September the 18th. Until then, you have to make a decision. So what does that mean for your altcoins? Let's look at some of the risks with holding your altcoins, because of course, holding isn't without risk. Altcoins are super volatile, and if a recession comes, and keep in mind we don't know how severe the recession is going to be, but either way, if a recession comes, we will see another leg down in crypto, and this can be deep. This can cut down to the depths. Some altcoins might not even survive. Right now, it's not clear what's going to happen. Before I talk about whether or not I'm going to sell and my strategy moving forward, it's important to assess your own risk tolerance. Like I've talked about a lot of times, there are two variables for personal risk: financial risk and emotional risk. Financial risk is what everyone is talking about. It's all about whether you can easily recover from your portfolio dropping down 90% and never recover. If you're in a position where if you lose everything you have in crypto and you can't financially recover, you have too much invested in crypto. So be honest with yourself, please. Second, and why I always ask this when I'm doing my portfolio reviews in my VIP channel, how high is your own perception of neuroticism? How do you emotionally deal with redness in your portfolio? If you are a very neurotic person, if you're super stressed right now, then consider two things. Either you leave the space and go invest in index funds for a solid 7.5% yearly, or you have to acknowledge that redness is part of the game. You have to hold your altcoins for months. You will see upside sooner or later if you're holding the right altcoins, of course. You just need patience. Okay, let's move on. So am I selling my crypto? No, I'm not selling my crypto. Let's look at some of the reasons why I'm not selling. Keep in mind, even though I have a lot invested in crypto and more ready to be invested, I can survive the loss. So with regards to financial risk, I'm good. Same with the emotional risk. I'm not stressed right now. Not that I'm a very stressed person normally. There's no dangers of heart attack anytime soon, nor will stress affect my daily life. So I just want to make that clear that for me personally, I don't have to sell. But there are other reasons as well that are not personal as to why I'm not selling. The potential reward for staying in crypto right now outweighs the risk, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course. So yes, even though we might stare down a barrel right now, I still think selling from a risk to reward standpoint is not a very smart move. The reason for this is that I still think there is a possibility of getting a rally in Q4. And if not Q4, then sometime during 2025. Even with all the bearishness, there are still whales accumulating heavy. There are still institutional interest growing. Dubai recognizes crypto as value payment. Large financial players and companies are exploring blockchain technology and crypto investments. We have Sony creating their own exchange. I do believe ETFs will pick themselves up eventually. There are a lot of bullish things moving forward. And finally, we know September is traditionally a red month. Okay, so I'm not selling. We got that out of the way. What should we do moving forward? Good question. Here's my plan. If you've been following the channel for some time, you know that you should not be afraid of two things: sitting on USDT, being dry powder, and two, having a good safety net. Let's talk about sitting on USDT first. Personally, I have about 40% in stables. Am I saying you should have that much? Well, that obviously depends on the crypto allocation you have compared to your entire net worth. I have a lot of money in crypto, therefore I like to take my time building up positions and sit on stables. But at the end of the day, I have high conviction and I will invest everything if the prices are good enough to make an entry. I always buy small amounts, I never rush anything, and this is why we've gotten really good entries thus far. So that is why I like to sit on USDT and take my time. Now for number two, the reason why I'm big on safety nets is because I will rotate. This is how big money is made in crypto. Making 2 10x's is a lot easier than 1 100x. You gotta trust me on that. Let me show you guys an example. Let's look at Solana OTK, and AI tech. All coins that I was and still am majorly bullish on. Let's say that you're able to scoop up some Solana back here. Another example could be Caspa, could be Render, but let's stick with Solana for this example. So you would buy it around these levels, then you would ride this, taking profits along the way, of course, because you don't know when the top is, and then you would move some of the gains into gaming, let's say OTK, then OTK starts to pump, you take profits, and then you move it over to AI tech, which is in the AI narrative, because you're able to recognize narrative shifts. Even if you DCA in and out, and not even time the bottom nor the top, this could very realistically be a 100x in total. This all started with a safety net pick. A safety net pick that started to really move when OTK and AI tech were in downtrend or didn't even exist. So when people talk about a safety net pick is only going to get you a 10x max and therefore not worth investing in it, very basic analysis in my opinion. And exactly the same thing happened last cycle. I rotated ADA into Axie, changed my life. You will rotate from big caps to small caps and from narrative to narrative. We will do this a lot in the private Discord, so don't worry about that. And of course, safety nets will save your portfolio in times like this. Look at Caspa, for instance, big holding in my portfolio, which has performed extremely well over the last couple of months, still up 300% yearly. So safety nets doesn't have to mean that you can't do a 100x, especially if you know how to rotate. Okay, so to summarize, here is what I'm going to do. I've had an honest conversation with myself. I'm financially and emotionally good, so I'm not going to sell my crypto. Furthermore, I also believe that the risk to reward ratio is good enough to stay. I'm going to sit patiently and wait for good entries, and we're not going to be afraid of picking up safety nets that later will be rotated to make 100x plus. So if you want to be a part of this, if you want to get into altcoins at cheap prices, get a portfolio review to make sure you're holding the right altcoins that actually will perform, get access to a bunch of courses, and join my VIP Discord. I honestly think this is the best time to join this group, as you will be able to pick up some really good altcoins at cheap prices. The price will of course increase, it will triple when we switch bullish again. If you get in now, you can lock in this price forever. You can also pay for yearly or lifetime of crypto for a nice discount. I hope to see you there. As always, take care and stay safe.